Ladies and gentlemen, this is a major and severe and very serious warning for California, Southern California, Oregon, Washington, Canada, and the West Coast. Your Valentine's Day gift from Mother Nature is going to be a major storm, followed by more storms with a pre-storm ahead of it, and the low that we are looking at that is pushing in on the 14th is right now coming in at 978 millibars, which on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale would give you a Category 2 strength with possible wind speeds of up to 110 miles per hour, and I would definitely almost guarantee that for the mountains. Now, we continue with our story of fire and ice, and the fire is partially caused by a lot of the volcanoes that have been going off in Mexico and Guatemala. We've been getting volcanic activity in the Caribbean. And so there is a very strange relationship between volcanoes and ice, and we are experiencing it. And so right now you're going to be getting some rain in the West Coast. Seattle's going to be getting hit pretty hard with mixed precipitation. And this is going to wetten you up and saturate the soils for the big event, which is a week from today. Now, there are things you can do. You can prepare by clearing out all drains. You can move in certain areas where you know the rain's going to be high, your objects to higher grounds. California's done a wonderful job of monitoring old folks' homes and the older folks and people who have disabilities to make sure that they have enough advanced warning to get them out of the way. I'm very proud of how California's handled its mudslide season this year compared to last year. Now, let us look at the actual storm that I'm issuing this very serious warning about. All right, so it starts on about, as you can see, through the 12th, the northern Pacific will be getting the rain. And then the moisture from the equatorial electric jet line comes in to add a secondary moisture stream, which is much heavier. So starting on Valentine's Day, you're going to start off getting wet. And then it is going to, we're seeing reds and oranges in here, which are anywhere from 4 to 10 inches of rain. And this is just over a 6-hour period. And then as the low moves in and down, it's going to push a lot of rain. And so you're talking, like, let's say in California, the rain begins on at 150 hours. It pushes through with about 18 hours of major rain. And then the secondary low moves through. And then more rain moves through. Not as heavy, but still it's rain on top of rain. And then you get more rain pushing through. So almost 100 hours again of rain. And then you have another major storm behind that. So this is a very serious situation that you have a week to prepare for. And what we just looked at was the GFS. Now I'm going to use the King model of the Euro, though none of the models have been highly accurate. And as we watch as the major moisture streams, and there's some weird shit going on around Hawaii. Like that low kind of sits and spins over Hawaii next week for a pretty serious amount of time. And we watch as the heavier rains move through. You get your spinning low. I would definitely be on the watch out for West Coast earthquake activity between now and the rest of March. But as the low pressure system moves through, we're going to watch and probably feel the pressure, shall we say. But as you can see, this is going to be the combination of two different moisture streams. There we get our evil left eye weather pattern. And then notice just that low is still spinning around Hawaii. So it was last year around April when we got the major volcanic eruption. And I wouldn't be surprised off these signals if we see more. Now we're going to watch the FB3 GFS run through. We've got our ice storm, which is messing stuff up as we get in this storm, freeze, storm, freeze, storm, freeze pattern. But yeah, it's definitely about to get wild, wacky. And as you can see, it plasters the West Coast. It hits it hard, and it hits it with a lot of moisture, and it looks like it'll be a lot of wind. So I do what I can to give people as much advance notice, but if you look at that, the Sierras had 6 feet of snowfall in, I think it was 18 hours. They're already well past snowpack, which is probably good for Nestle, because I have a feeling that when that shit melts, Nestle just siphons it off so it can sell it back to you at like $5 a water bottle. Our capitalist system is pretty broken. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, bro. It's true. All right, so yeah, that pretty much sums it up. And that, yeah, we got some rain and storms moving through this week for the West Coast. But I'm very concerned and very worried about that. And often the models tend to trend more severe as the event draws closer. So yes, I will be keeping an eye on it for you, because that is what I do full time. And I got to remind everybody that, 90% of science is funded by governments and corporations, so you can't always trust them. One thing that I've found is that the major volcano eruptions on the west coast of the United States comes when the gas giants are on the same side of the sun. And so it's going to take Jupiter about 6 more years to come around and bring us back some balance. And so I am definitely expecting volcanic activity on the west coast within the next 3 years. You don't have to believe it. It's still a free country. We're all still free to believe whatever we want to believe. But if you look on my past videos, I've showed a direct link to all the gas giants being on the same side, it affecting the sun, and then it affecting the earthquakes and the volcanoes. Rob Elvington, it's about time to start talking potential issues in Central and Southern California in the middle of next week. Atmospheric river on top of a huge snowpack with reservoirs already above normal. I was a superhero when I was out in California, and I covered the period where like all the dams were at like 99%. And so I don't think the Oroville Dam has ever been majorly tested. And so it turns out we'll probably be majorly testing it. So definitely over the next 2 weeks. Tennessee had 4 inches of floodwater yesterday in one day, which caused major flooding problems. And then you're going to be getting major flood problems through California again. And so I'll stay on top of it. I'm about to get work on an edited video, because there's been, this was the last week across the world was one of the busiest weather situations I've ever seen since I've been doing Thor News. The places that got hit hardest were Italy, Indonesia, and Australia. And so I will get back to work on that. I'm your planetary defense commander, and I survive and thrive off your donations. And thank you very much for making rent. And now I'm really short on cash for food and stuff. So if you'd like to make a contribution and donation for all my hard work, I'll leave a PayPal link in my information box. And I always highly recommend checking out the blog of crankywxguy. He breaks down the storms, and hopefully he'll be keeping an eye on California for us, because 90% of the meteorologists focus on the East Coast. And so I do what I can to make up the difference, and Cranky will too, hopefully. Asterisk. All right. I love you guys. Stay cool. And hopefully we can end this woman versus man war. It's been going on for 3 years before Valentine's Day. But I'm not betting on it. Okay. Stay cool. Peace out. God bless everyone.